Hey everyone, it's Arlise. Today I'm going to do something a little different, a little new. I'm going to work with clay today, but I'm going to experiment and try to make clay pins, but also some clay toys. So keep watching if you want to see how I made these. As usual, I'm using air dry clay, and here are some of the materials I'm going to be using. I'm going to use safety pins for the clay pins, and I like to tape down the mat so it doesn't move, especially if I'm using a rolling pin. So I've drawn out some ideas that I have for the clay toys and as well as the pins. I'm making these little flat clay toys for my niece, and I'm also making these pins for myself. And so I'm going to cut those out in each little drawing, and we're going to make a clay slab. Making this small thin slab for the pins because since this is air dry clay, I don't want them to be too heavy, and this is also my first time drawing this, so I want to make it as thin as I can but also thick enough that I can stick a pin through it. So I'm gonna place all the little drawings I have, roll those out so they don't move, and then just carve each one out. Once I got all those popped out, I'm going to start smoothing all the edges on each of them since they're kind of cut bluntly, so they have a little bit of like a frilly edge. So I'm just going to use this tool and smooth each one out. Then I'm going to get all these safety pins that I have. I'm going to try to find the ones that are kind of the same size as the little cutout and just kind of stick them in a little bit, add some clay over that, and smooth it out. And you may have noticed that I've opened the safety pin actually, which is a little dangerous, but I did this because I wasn't sure how well I was able to smooth down this piece of clay in between it with the pin closed, so I thought it'd be best to have it open so I can easily smooth it out. We have a lot to get through today. I have done a lot of sculpting and painting in this video, so I am going to do the rest of these pins off camera, and then we'll get started on the next slab for the clay toys. Now for the clay toys, I'm going to make them pretty thick because I don't want them to be too fragile. I mean, it's hard clay, so it is fragile, but I think if they were really thin, they could just easily snap in half, especially if a child is playing with it. So I made it thick enough that I don't think that would happen. And I've also heard that my niece is actually pretty gentle with these kinds of things, so I'm not too worried that she'll break them or anything like that. So I'm kind of confident that they'll be okay, but I'm still worried because it's clay. It's hard, dried clay, so, but I think it'll be fine. For all my sketches, I think I had about like 10 ideas, but I couldn't fit them all on this thick slab that I made, so I kind of ruled some out because I think one of them would have broke if I made it, so I decided not to do this one idea that I had. So I have these ones so far, pretty much repeating the exact same process, except I'm not adding pins to the back of them. Popping them all out, taking the paper off, smoothing each edge, and then we're going to set them to dry. So while those are all drying and getting ready for me to paint them, I'd like to take this time to remind you where else you can find me at. I'm pretty active on Instagram and TikTok. You can check out my Instagram stories for kind of daily updates on whatever I'm doing that day or week. And I also post some art that I work on the side. Besides my YouTube stuff, I create artwork and things. So if you are interested in that, check that out. And if you do really like my artwork, I also have an online shop at Imprint. Imprint makes cards, phone cases, prints, all kinds of different things. Check out my online shop at Imprint. All the links for my Instagram, TikTok, my online shop, all in the description, so please check those out. Now let's get painting. These are finally all ready to paint, and I'm gonna separate some of the ones that have kind of the same color palette that I was going for. These are all green and red characters, I guess. So I'm gonna paint all these first. So I'm painting all the green ones green and all the red ones red. These needed a few coats, so I skipped that part where I painted them over and over again because it just ends up getting really repetitive. Once most of them got all their coats, I started to get on the details. This is a little cute frog with a little bit of blush and like big cute little eyes. For all of the clay toys, I painted the exact same thing on both sides except for the avocado. I didn't want to leave one side blank, and that way when you turn it over, it's all the same fun all around. But for the avocado, one side is showing the skin and the other side is showing the inside and the pit. So I did that for the avocado, but the other clay pins, the clay toys, are painted the exact same on each side, except the pins, of course, because it'd be really hard to paint back there. But yeah, I'm getting all the details done for each one, letting all the paint dry, and then working on the next one, and the next one is just a lot of back and forth. So these are little Easter eggs for my VeggieTales fans out there. This is of course Larry the Cucumber and Bob the Tomato. I grew up watching their videos and their little movies, and it was just great. So I wanted to give that same experience to my niece, and my sister will get a huge kick out of it too. So I thought it'd be really fun to paint these guys. Now I'm going to let all those guys dry and work on the next batch. I forgot to explain the first batch, but it was kind of self-explanatory. An avocado, a little mushroom, strawberry, a heart, a frog, and Larry and Bob. But here we have a cat, another heart, a star. I'm going to do a little doggy. That was a butterfly. Here's a little snail, and I'm also going to do a little monkey because my niece just loves animals, so I wanted to give her all kinds of fun little things. Now, these were fun to make and paint, but it did take 2 days and several hours sculpting and painting. So if you're planning on making these, you got your work cut out for you because it's going to take a very long time. Even though I didn't go as detailed as I usually do with my other work, it still took forever because I had to paint one side, then let that dry, paint a different one, and then go back to that first one, paint the other side, and then the edges, and then they would need a second coat, sometimes a third coat. It was just so much back and forth painting each one. I mean, my paint water was basically brown at the end of the day. I do love painting, don't get me wrong, and I love making things for other people, so this was a big hoot for me. um, Here we are, just adding the details. I did a little white and black doggy because I thought it'd be really cute, and just putting a smiley face on that monkey, and just adding, all the little details, and that was the fun part, just like making it really cute for a 3-year-old. Now for this little cat, I could have made it look like my cat Ming, but like she's got too many colors, so I thought it'd be just simpler to do just a plain white cat with, like 2 different colored eyes, because that's really fun. But yeah, and for this little star, I painted it's like neon yellow with some gold on the edges because I just really like stars. Now that these are all dry, I wanted to add some colored pencil details to the VeggieTales characters, just outlining their eyes and their noses, and then just adding this little detail in between their eyes because they don't like connect, but there's like a subtle connection there, so I added that. Then I brought out my Sculpey gloss and glazed every single one of those front, back, edges, everything. Many hours later, there we have it. Now let's take a closer look at each one of these guys. So, now that they're all painted and glazed and glossed, let's see if these pins actually work, because I was a little skeptical if the safety pin backing would work, because I didn't have anything that I could use as a backing. So I'm wearing my jean jacket and I'm gonna try to pin these somewhere on my jacket. Let's go with this purple heart. If you use safety pins before, you know, just kind of comes down and out. So let's try to safely pin these to myself. Okay. Okay, pinned, because it's a safety pin. Just trying to be gentle. And I also don't want to prick myself. Huh, not bad. I'd probably take it off to try. I don't know why I did it while it was on. But, I mean, worked pretty well. I think it was kind of cute. I'm gonna take this off and arrange them on both sides, and I'll be right back. That's so cool. I put these a little too close because I couldn't, it's kind of hard to tell what their size is, but I mean, new skill unlocked, can make clay pins now. And now so can you. If you don't have special pin backings, if you have a bunch of safety pins, go for it. And clay. I was worried that using air dry clay would be a problem because with what I've seen with people use clay pins, I think they use polymer clay, which you can bake in the oven. So you can just kind of stick a backing in it and then bake it. But I didn't have any polymer clay, but I have quite a bit of air dry clay. So I decided to use that, and I needed to make these clay toys, so yeah. I really hope my niece likes these. I mean, it's been a lot of time on them. And I've heard she's very careful with things like this, so I'm not too worried that she'll break them or anything like that. I didn't want to make anything that had anything sticking out too far so it'll snap easy, especially with air dry clay. So yeah, I hope these last a while for her. I hope she has fun with them, with whatever she wants to do with them. So I hope you enjoyed my video. I hope you tried out making clay pins yourself if you have the materials. It was really fun, for the most part. It did take a long time. So that's the only con. Please like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave a comment down below. Check out my other stuff, my other videos, my other social medias. And I'll see you all next time. Bye guys. No. I want to have a cool sign off. Maybe I'm not cool enough.